I dreamed I grew a tail. The tail was hard and scorching hot. When I reached back to touch it, it grew even bigger. I woke from the dream, clenching slightly. A muffled groan sounded right next to my ear. Relax, babe. Don't clamp down. I think Zane hates my guts. Just because I walk around the dorm shirtless, he gets all passive-aggressive. Put a shirt on. What if you catch a cold? Then he accidentally flexes his massive pecs and rock-hard biceps. Fine. I'm a scrawny twig. I'll endure it. I just spilled some water on myself after basketball, and he threw his jacket at me like he was furious. Can't you drink water properly? Put my jacket on now. I put it on, daring to be angry but not daring to speak. Even worse, I just wanted to squat up with the dorm leader for a gaming all-nighter, which meant sleeping in his bed. Zane lectured us with a stone-cold face. If you game all night, can you get up for class tomorrow? Joey White, do you care about your GPA? Can that crappy school bed even handle 2 people thrashing around? Joey, get down from there right now. Scolded like an elementary schooler caught skipping class, I climbed down awkwardly. I told my crew, my minions, about this, asking them to analyze what Zane's deal was. The boys were even more indignant than I was. He's provoking you. He's showing off that his body is better than yours. There must be someone he likes at the basketball court. He's afraid your wet t-shirt look, no, your lean muscles will steal his crush away. He's driving a wedge between you guys, winning hearts and minds. He wants to replace you as the dorm boss. Can you tolerate that, boss? Go kick his ass. Except for the last one, I thought they all made sense. After all, when I declared myself the boss of room 1111, the other 3 roommates didn't object at all. Zane even smirked and complimented me, sure, you're the biggest. I can't rule out that Zane, having lived under my rule for so long, has grown resentful and started coveting my throne. I shuddered. Luke, the usually silent one in the group chat, chimed in. Joey? Do you think you might be misunderstanding your roommate? It looks like he takes good care of you. He worries about you catching a cold, he worries about your grades. Hearing that, I did feel Zane was actually pretty nice to me. Luke, what do you know? He definitely feels threatened by Boss Joey. He wants to belittle him with words. The battle for the crown has always been this way. Boss isn't his girlfriend, so why does he care so much? He definitely has ulterior motives. Listening to my minions fight for my honor, the flames of competition against Zane ignited in my heart. Bring it on. Room 1111 can only have one alpha. Luke stayed silent for a moment, sighed in the group chat, and spoke with grave meaningfulness. Joey, if you ever dream about growing a tail, whatever you do not try to pull it out with your hand. I flew into a rage. Why would I grow a tail? I'm not a rabbit and... Hey, call me boss. Boss. A voice came from behind me. Hey. I turned around excitedly. Zane was standing there, tall and upright, like a ghost in the doorway. He had a faint, unreadable smile on his lips. I didn't know how long he'd been watching. I panicked, scrambling to hide my phone. Zane, weren't you going to that lecture with the others? Heaven knows I deliberately skipped that lecture to discuss enemy intel with the boys. Zane placed a bag of chestnuts on my desk. He pursed his lips, a rare look of embarrassment on his handsome face. The lecture was boring. I came back early. Saw a guy selling roasted chestnuts on the way. Bought a bag for you. I quickly thanked him. Oh, thanks, bro. Maybe it was my imagination. But Zane seemed to stiffen for a second after I spoke. I peeled a sweet, soft chestnut and popped it into my mouth. The aroma was amazing. I narrowed my eyes in pure bliss. While I ate, Zane's intense gaze was nailed to me. Feeling a chill down my spine, I quickly handed him a chestnut. So good. Here, eat one. Zane took it, peeled it in 2 seconds and chewed slowly. His demeanor made it look like he wasn't eating a chestnut, but savoring the only rare treasure in the world. Under his meaningful gaze, I turned around, trembling. Provocation. It was definitely a provocation. Ever since I learned from the boys that Zane intended to usurp me, I started training. So what if I'm not as tall as him? I get up early every day to run, hit the gym, lift barbells and box. Give it time, and I'll definitely build pecs bigger than Zane's and shoulders wider than his. I also employed a policy of appeasement. Using the excuse of returning the favor for the chestnuts, I periodically brought Zane little cakes and milk tea. Hehehe. Zane, just you wait until I feed you into a giant butterball. Returning to the dorm that day, I handed Zane a candied apple I'd bought on the roadside, just like always. Wrapped in a thick layer of sugar syrup, it's the kind of food a gym rat wouldn't dare look at in this lifetime. Here, baby Zane. Daddy bought this specially for you. I flashed a smile that looked harmless but was actually evil, extending my wicked little hand toward him. Zane froze, staring at the candied apple thoughtfully. Wait, boss, how come you bring stuff for Zane but not us? Are you still the boss of 1111? You gotta spread the love, no playing favorites. Hunter, our golden retriever energy roommate, looked up from his game to complain. Liam, the one in the plaid shirt and glasses, adjusted his frames and gave me a meaningful look. Why buy him a candied apple? That guy in our class buys those for girls he's chasing. Besides, isn't Zane cutting? Hearing this, Zane's fingers trembled imperceptibly as he took the apple, as if restraining something. I mentally kicked Hunter and Liam. What if Zane realizes I'm trying to sabotage his diet with sugar? What's with the noise? Do I rarely treat you guys? Besides, one of you drinks boba, like water, and the other has a snack stash big enough to open a 7-Eleven. Do you really need Daddy to worry about you? I just saw Zane's life is so bitter, so I wanted to add some sweetness to it. After my rant, Hunter and Liam bowed to my tyranny, shrinking back to their games. Once they quieted down, I stared intently at Zane and the candied apple in his hand, my eyes practically beaming. Eat it. It won't taste good if the sugar melts. Hunter popped up again. Candied apples are supposed to be cold. I was furious. I threw a book at Hunter, craning my neck to argue. Don't I know that? It was a metaphor. Do you understand metaphors? While we argued, Zane's well-defined fingers slowly unwrapped the packaging, and he gently took a bite. I leaned in close to that campus heartthrob face that drove all the girls crazy, watching his reaction. Like it? If you like it, bro will buy them for you in the future. Zane's expression stalled slightly. His Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed the sour fruit. His voice was husky. Not bad. I bounced around excitedly like a sparrow. Babe, bro will buy you one every day. Give it a rest. That thing is sickly sweet. Even my nephew hates them. Hunter's voice rang out behind me like background music I couldn't shake. I was annoyed. Is this kid trying to ruin my plans? Different strokes for different folks. Maybe Zane loved this stuff as a kid and still loves it now. My words were cut off by Zane. I never ate them as a kid. Nobody bought me snacks. When I was little, Zane lowered his head, looking at the candied apple in his hand. His long eyelashes cast a shadow on his pale face, giving him a melancholy air. Joey, thank you for buying this for me. When I was small, my mom was leaving. She bought me a candied apple, but my dad was angry at her, so he threw it away. Now, I'm finally eating the first candied apple of my life. The dorm went silent. Everyone was stunned. Looking at Zane, who seemed like he was about to shatter, my heart overflowed with paternal instinct. As the dorm boss, I felt I had to do something. I cupped Zane's face, and as his pupils suddenly contracted, I used my thumb to wipe a bit of sugar off his lip. Oh, you poor thing. Bro will spoil you from now on. I'll buy you one every day. Come here, baby Zane. Give me a kiss. You belong to Joey White now. I puckered up, pretending to go for a kiss. I thought Zane would dodge. I didn't expect him to hold his ground, his dark eyes staring straight at me. Just as my lips were about to freeze awkwardly in midair, Hunter's voice chimed in perfectly, saving me. Ugh, Joey. Stop grossing Zane out. If you scare him off, who's gonna help me with my finals review? I quickly retracted my puckered lips and ran over to pummel Hunter. What do you know? That was a precious virgin kiss. Look at the sacrifice I'm making for my roommate. I didn't notice Zane standing behind me, fists clenched, a look of utter regret on his face. Liam, who had the lowest presence in the room, sat in the corner crunching potato chips. He looked at me, then at Zane, his glasses reflecting a bizarre light. Zane had a rough childhood, so I didn't have the heart to target him anymore. Although I still brought him sweets every day, it was now purely out of a father's love for his cub. I have to say, once you drop your prejudices, you see good points you missed before. As student body president, Zane was busy with council stuff and classes, yet he still made time to play basketball and swim with me. My heart was filled with the pride of a parent watching a child grow up. I even felt a vague urge to abdicate the throne. Hearing that I wanted to step down, my minions miles away gritted their teeth in anger. If he becomes boss over Boss Joey, doesn't that make him the emperor over our heads? You can't do it, boss. He's retreating to advance. Boss, you must not be bewildered by this little siren. A vixen. That is a legendary vixen right there. Joey, your soul is being hooked. Thinking of words like vixen applied to someone with Zane's broad shoulders and narrow waist, I rolled around on my bed laughing. Joey, speak of the devil. Zane was standing by my bed like a ghost, holding a bottle of herbal oil, watching me quietly. Startled, I flung my phone into the air and juggled it like a clown before catching it. What's up? I poked my head out, eyes wide, trying to look imposing. Zane lowered his eyes, putting on that pitiful look I couldn't resist. Did I disturb you? Remembered you twisted your ankle playing ball this morning. I went to the infirmary to get some oil. The little flame of anger in my heart was instantly extinguished. I rubbed my nose. Thanks. It's just a minor injury. I'm tough, I don't need it. Although my ankle was red and swollen, compared to injuries I'd had before, this was just a drop in the bucket. Zane stood motionless, pursing his lips. His stubborn silhouette looked like a tree. I couldn't win, so I had to climb down. Fine. If you want to honor the boss, I can't stop you. But I'm telling you, this little injury is nothing compared to. I hopped down on one leg, chattering away, when my foot slipped and I tipped backward. I'm done for, my words cut off abruptly. Just as I was considering how to land on my face with dignity, a warm current enveloped me. Why is the ceiling spinning? Oh, Zane caught me. He even spun a few circles like the male lead catching the heroine in a soap opera. It felt like pink bubbles were popping in the air one by one. Behind me, Hunter and Liam were making noises like Tarzan beating his chest, but I couldn't hear a thing. I fell into Zane's eyes, deep as lakes, and my whole body tensed up like I'd been electrocuted. A phrase suddenly popped into my brain. A lover's eyes are a blue bird. The blue bird flapped its wings, sending ripples across the pond. Zane frowned and carefully placed me on a chair. Joey, don't be so reckless next time. I didn't dare breathe, nodding like a marionette. Zane took the oil, poured it into his palm to warm it up, and prepared to rub out the bruise. The moment his hot hand touched me, I hurriedly tried to stop him. I can do it myself. Zane acted like he didn't hear me. He gently placed my injured ankle on his knee and started massaging it on his own. His distinct, bony palm covered my slightly red ankle, rubbing with detail and care. Maybe the air was dry, but Zane swallowed hard, his prominent Adam's apple rolling. A wave of pain hit me. I bit my lower lip, the veins on my arms bulging as I gripped the chair. Maybe the medicinal oil was starting to work, but everywhere Zane's fingers touched felt like a wildfire igniting heat that threatened to spread to my thighs. 20 minutes later, I moved my ankle, panting. It was still gripped in Zane's palm. My sweaty bangs hung over my forehead, blurring my view of Zane's expression. My throat was tight, and my voice came out like a muffled groan. That's enough. Feels a lot better. Zane licked the corner of his mouth and released my foot. I must have been stupid from the pain because I actually thought I saw a look on his face like he didn't want to let go. Zane's voice was hoarse. Done. I nodded like a chicken pecking rice, relieved. Thanks. Zane, you really are my good son. Maybe it was my imagination, but Zane's eyes darkened. He put on a cold face and headed to the bathroom. I'm gonna wash my hands. I yelled after him, use soap or it won't wash. Off. Hunter and Liam were thinking of something funny, laughing so hard the bed frame shook. They whispered to each other. Really casting pearls before swine. You don't get it. Straight guys have their charm. I slapped the table. What are you two mumbling about? The boss is injured and I don't see you showing any respect. A blonde mushroom and a black mushroom poked out from the top bunks. Boss's jade body is damaged. The minions feel the pain in their bones. Boss will rule for 1,000 generations, unite the world. Only then did I spare them. Maybe the smell of the oil was too strong because Zane washed his hands for a long time. When he came out, he was back to his gentle, melancholy, obedient self. Smiling, Zane invited us to his house next week for his birthday party. Thinking of what he said about his parents not getting along, my heart tightened. and I quickly promised I'd be there. For a poor guy like Zane, he probably spent past birthdays all alone. This year, I was going to give him a lively one. I grabbed Zane's hand and shook it firmly. I'll be there. Zane stared at our clasped hands and suddenly smiled, revealing shallow dimples. Zane's smile blossomed in my heart like a flower, leaving me dazed. Just then, Luke called. Turns out the kid was in town for a trip and came to see me. He was at the school gate. Hobbling with Zane's help, I went to the gate and saw my good brother Luke. I hugged Luke fiercely and punched him on the back a few times. Luke, I missed you to death. If I wasn't crippled right now, I totally want to make out with you. Wait, context. Luke tricked me years ago. He told me making out was British slang for making it out to the game or just hanging out. Reunited with an old friend, I was full of excitement and the phrase just slipped out. I didn't notice Zane's face turning instantly black behind me. Luke hugged me back, raising an eyebrow the moment he saw Zane. You're awful. In broad daylight, making out? I hooked my arm around his neck, laughing. Stop pretending. I've made out with you the most. Luke stopped while he was ahead and asked about Zane. And this is? I remembered to introduce him. This is my good brother, good roommate, Zane. Luke yelped. Oh, so this is the roommate you mentioned, cough, cough, let go. Afraid Luke would say something detrimental to our dorm harmony. I put him in a headlock to cut him off. Come on. I'll show you around the Centennial campus of Hudson U. I walked around with Luke for a bit before he said he had to go. When he left, he had a mysterious smile on his face, but his eyes skipped over me to look at Zane. Joey, remember the dream I told you about growing a tail? I watched his retreating back, full of confusion. I turned around and bumped into a wall. Zane was staring at me darkly. He pursed his lips, as if making a huge determination before speaking. Joey, do you and Luke make out often? He sounded almost like he was gritting his teeth, wishing he could tear someone apart. Oblivious, I said, yeah, we've been doing it since middle school. The blood drained from Zane's face instantly. His lips trembled, and the light in his eyes dimmed like night falling. Seeing him like this, my heart felt like it was being squeezed. I couldn't help but say, if you want, we can do it together. How about next week on your birthday? Zane froze. His eyes were obscure, like a man dying of thirst in the desert seeing a bottle of alcohol. It wasn't until my hand touched his face in worry that he snapped back to reality and smiled. Okay, a smile as bitter as a plum. In the blink of an eye, it was Zane's birthday. I'd been acting secretive for days preparing his gift. But Zane got busy too, buried in student council work all day, barely visible. Occasionally our eyes met in the air. He would have a complex, heartbroken expression and look away first. That action touched a raw nerve in me, making me inexplicably angry. I stared at Zane's retreating back as if I could burn a hole in it. The consequence of angering me was that Zane couldn't walk to class with me. Little Goldie, Hunter, looked excited on the way. My good brother, sit with me later. We'll conquer the canyon together. I walked with my head down, lacking interest. Nah, bro needs to sleep. Hunter whined. Passing the basketball court, we stopped briefly to watch. A tall guy on the court sank a beautiful three-pointer, sealing the victory for his team. Hunter and I grabbed each other's shoulders, excitedly cheering loudly. But the tall guy's next move shocked us all. Ignoring the cheers of the crowd, he ran straight to a boy on the sidelines who was watching him with sparkling eyes, and they kissed right there like no one else existed. Seeing this, my blood froze. I stood there, stunned and lost. I don't know how Hunter dragged me away, but when I came to, I was already in the classroom. Hunter was still sighing in my ear. That's Hudson U for you. Centennial School. Such an open and inclusive spirit. I couldn't help but say, but they were both guys. Hunter sized up my expression. Joey, are you discriminating? I hurriedly denied it before he finished. No, it's just my first time seeing two guys. Hunter stroked his chin with a playful look. Who cares if it's a guy or a girl? If someone kissed me that passionately, I'd say yes even if they were an alien. I really want a passionate, earth-shattering romance on campus too. Hunter hugged himself intoxicatedly in public, his blonde hair reflecting his restless, youthful heart. Hunter brushed his bangs back, grinning like a fox, and asked me cheekily, haven't you ever thought about holding hands with a girlfriend, having a little kiss or something? Me, I live a three-point line life. Dorm, class, cafeteria. Where would I meet a girl? Hunter crossed his arms and mused. True. Anyway, except for today, you hold hands with Zane walking to class every day. You need him to wake you up, you need him to feed you medicine. When you're sick. Who needs a girlfriend? What did you say? I shot up, glaring at Hunter. The people around us turned to look. Hunter quickly pulled me down. Why so loud? I was joking. In the front row, Zane turned around at that moment, looking at me with worry. In that instant, I felt an electric shock in my heart. Afraid to meet Zane's eyes, my body, which had been stiff a second ago, collapsed into the seat like noodles. I slumped down, ignoring Hunter. Hunter scratched his head anxiously, leaning in to whisper. Joey? Boss? You okay? Zane is asking if you're sick. Hearing Zane's name, I didn't know what to feel. Buried in my arms, I said muffly, Tell Zane I'm sleeping. After class, I skipped dinner and went back to the dorm alone. Lying in bed, after hesitating again and again, I messaged Luke. Me, Luke. I walked by the court today and saw two guys kissing. Me. Damn it. My expression was exactly like that meme. Zane didn't drag you away? Who mentioned Zane? Why are you so sure he was with me? Luke. I thought you were going to say it was actually you two kissing on the court. My phone flew out of my hand, hit the ceiling, and landed by my bed. I clutched my chest, panting heavily, and tiptoed like a thief to pick up the phone. Luke is toxic. My brain actually involuntarily imagined a scene of two guys kissing. Except the main characters were switched to me and Zane, thinking of his always smiling face. His eyes, clear as glass but tinged with melancholy. The mole at the corner of his eye that moved when he spoke. I pulled the duvet tightly over myself, as if that would stop my dirty thoughts and thundering heartbeat from escaping. Joey. I realized with horror I was hallucinating. I brought you food. Heat it up when you want to eat. Zane's gentle voice drifted up from below the bunk. I realized he was back, and he brought me dinner, but I had lost the courage to face him. I shrank into my shell, unable to believe I harbored such thoughts about my roommate, my minion. I don't know how I fell asleep, but a certain someone wouldn't let me go even in my dreams. I floated in the air like a cloud. On the noisy basketball court, there was an inseparable pair of silhouettes. They were slowly getting closer. I reached out in terror to stop them. The next second, I was standing on the court, and in front of me was Zane's face. His face slowly magnified, that fire-red mole at the corner of his eye crushing toward me. The next day, I woke up with panda eyes. Hunter screamed dramatically, Joey White, did you sneak in some gaming behind my back last night? Look at those dark circles. Liam chuckled while gnawing on bread. Give him some bamboo and he can cosplay a national treasure. I rolled my eyes at them and walked over to Zane, who looked worried but dared not speak. I slapped his shoulder. Zane, Big Bro is going to give you a unique birthday today. Light ignited in Zane's eyes, and a considerate smile hung on his lips. Just having you there makes me happy. My heart skipped a beat. I chanted internally. Zane is my brother, Zane is my brother. That evening, Zane's butler sent a stretch Lincoln to pick us up. When the car drove into a manor, our jaws dropped. At the banquet, amidst clinking glasses, Zane walked down the spiral staircase in a white suit like Prince Charming. Thump, thump. I heard my own heartbeat, confirming I wasn't dreaming. Business people swarmed Zane to talk. He exchanged polite pleasantries with a smile, but didn't stop walking until he reached my side. He held out his hand to me. Hello, I'm here for my gift. My face flushed. I snapped out of my trance and handed over the gift, which looked a bit shabby compared to the surroundings. But Zane grabbed my hand. Come with me. I want to look at my gift carefully. I followed him in a daze. Hunter and Liam's gossiping voices rang out behind us. Boss, go get him. We won't leave the door unlocked for you tonight. Joey, take care. Zane took me upstairs to his bedroom, a bedroom bigger than a classroom. He pressed me down onto the edge of the bed and looked down at me, his dark eyes fixed intently on mine. For the first time, I realized a person's gaze could be so complex. Zane stared at me with wolf-like eyes, his voice laced with a hint of breathlessness and tension. I'm here for my gift. I held out the gift box. Zane's voice suddenly dropped. Not that. I looked up at him. Zane lowered his head, his broad figure enveloping me like a mountain. When your friend Luke visited campus, you said on my birthday you wanted to make out with me. When saying a certain someone's name, he sounded slightly gnashing and jealous. I looked confused. Make out? Now? There's no basketball court here, and we don't have enough people for a game? Seeing the anticipation on Zane's face, I carefully voiced my question. Do we need to find more people to play? No. Zane suddenly grabbed my shoulders, veins bulging on his arms. He circled me in his arms, a position of confinement. Zane's forehead rested against mine. He looked into my eyes with red-rimmed eyes, his voice trembling. How can you be so? At least here, it can only be the two of us. TSK, Zane is like a kid, so shy about playing ball. Since he put it that way, could I refuse him? Fine, let's do it then. Wait for me to unwrap the GIF. My words were drowned out by Zane's storm of a kiss. My mind went blank. I felt like a small boat drifting in a tempest, shivering uncontrollably. Zane was demanding frantically, like a poor man who hadn't eaten in days. I almost drowned in this surging tide of affection. Only when the air in my lungs was nearly exhausted did I struggle to push Zane away. Zane gasped for breath, his lips crimson. His slicked-back CEO hairstyle was messy. I was panting just as hard, taking several seconds to find my brain. Not this making out. The making out I told Luke about was playing basketball. My words were like thunder from a clear sky. A blush crawled rapidly up Zane's neck to his face. I thought you and a lot of people. I was so angry my face turned red. I hammered his rock-hard chest. What kind of person do you think I am? Zane held my hand, his face flushed with embarrassment. You didn't push me away just now. Does that mean you like me too? Joey, let's be together. The handsome, rich prince was probably confessing for the first time in his life. His usually deep eyes burst with the hopeful light of a young boy. The air was heating up. I could feel my face turning into a tomato. I nodded, throwing caution to the wind. Together it is. I'm the boss. What's there to be afraid of admitting? After saying that, too embarrassed to look at Zane's triumphant face, I bit hard on his collarbone, leaving a standard tooth mark. From now on, you belong to me. This is Joey White's exclusive seal. Zane let out a bright, old-money laugh, and with a stretch of his long arms, he lifted me onto the bed. He pulled out a tube of something, his eyes scary bright. Joey, I looked it up online. If we prepare, it won't hurt. I nodded with the resolve of a martyr. Then came the lights out segment, and me sending voice messages in the middle of the night, cursing Luke out. Luke, you piece of SHT. What, growing a tail? You knew all along. You didn't warn me, it hurts like hell. Zane reached out and took my phone, whispering in my ear. Shoo, focus. Sweat dripped onto the sheets with the rhythm of movement, outlining two blurred figures. Epilogue. Many days later, Boss Joey asked his minions for advice again. Captain Joey. Children, Big Bro has encountered a little problem recently. Damn, who's bold enough to mess with Boss Joey? I'm buying a train ticket right now. Whether it's basketball or a brawl, just say the word, boss, and we'll walk through fire. Captain Joey. Luke. Shut up. Captain Joey. It's not that serious. It's just, remember that roommate I told you about who wanted to replace me? He's been controlling me strictly lately. I can't even play a game during class. Conspiracy. I smell a conspiracy. His ambition is still alive. If he dares to control Big Bro today, tomorrow he'll be the boss. Roadside single dog? It's finals week and you're gaming in class? Also, didn't you say his dad hates him and his mom doesn't love him, a pitiful little thing? Captain Joey. Damn. Don't bring that up. I found out later he meant his mom left him and his dad to go on vacation, and the candy apple she bought him was eaten by his dad. Conspiracy. I smell a conspiracy. Boss, study hard. Don't game in class. By the way, do you have a girlfriend yet? When break comes, I'll introduce my girlfriend to you guys. Roadside single dog. Heh. A shadow fell over my eyes. Just as I was formulating words to condemn these fake friends, I felt a chill on my back. Joey, did you memorize the key points I highlighted for you? Zane stood behind me, his expression unpredictable, squinting at my phone. Girlfriend? Seeing clearly, Zane's eyes were as resentful as an abandoned wife in a period drama. Joey, you don't plan to make our relationship public? Am I unpresentable? 10 minutes later, Joey's fish entered the group chat. Joey's fish. Hello everyone. I'm Joey's boyfriend, Zane. Please take care of me. Captain Joey. Welcome, welcome. The group was quiet for a full minute. Sister-in-law. Hello. Hi, Mrs. Boss. We definitely never badmouthed you. Roadside single dog. The 4 ones just became 3 ones and a 0. I want to beat Luke to death. That night, Zane took Joey to his house to study. Professor Zane was serious and responsible, whispering carefully in Joey's ear. Get 1 wrong and that's 10 extra minutes. Joey faced a formidable enemy, feeling like he had thorns on his back.